Right, hi everyone. Welcome back. Hope you had a nice break. I said at the beginning of today that I was going to try and blag my sister to come and be part. This is said sister.
Hi.
This is Lisa. This is my sister Lisa.
Nice to be here.
Yeah, thanks for joining us, Lou. Lisa's somebody we've been kind of dragging in, getting involved in our stuff lately. And Lisa's somebody I deeply respect. I just so happen to be fortunate to be able to call her my sister. And Lisa came across the principles. It would be 2014.
Yeah, nearly 10 years ago.
2014. When I bought her a ticket to go and see Dr. Dick and Bettinger Hiker in Manchester, and Lisa wasn't up for it to begin with. She said, I think your actual words were, "No, that's not really for me, that Dave. That's more for you." She said, "It's just going to be full of weirdos."
And it was. Like you were all these people nice and calm, kiddos. Weren't they going out for a run or doing something more exciting with their weekend?
Yeah.
I didn't really. It was lovely.
No, it was. And then thankfully, Lise saw something. And I remember the moment you saw it. And for me, it was one of the most beautiful moments of my life. We were just sat listening to a lad play guitar, sat around in Manchester after day one. And I remember looking at you, and I'd bought you this ticket for your birthday. And I said, if you get something into this, Lise, this is going to be the best birthday present you ever receive in your life. And I know you didn't know what I meant at that point. You couldn't know what I was actually talking about at that point. But then I remember when we were listening to that Asian lad play the guitar, beautiful voice, amazing guitarist. And Lisa and I had kind of lived our lives, but we lived our life like that through our whole life. And then when Rach and I, my first wife, split up, we went like that. We just didn't see each other. And this was to me, it was a healing thing. I wanted Lisa to, like we were just talking about just before the break with Christine and Jerry, you brought it up about friends and family, you know. I really wanted my sister to gain insight into the principles. And for whatever reason, Lise changed her mind and she came. But we listened to day one, and we listened to this lad play guitar, went and got changed, so we went out. And I remember you reached across and you held my hand. And that was like a tenderness that hadn't happened for a very, very, very long time in our lives. And it kind of took me by surprise. And I look at you and you got tears running down your face. And I said, Lisa, are you all right? And you looked back at me and you said, I've never felt more beautiful in my entire life. And I remember looking at you and just going, happy birthday. And since that, Lisa's just grown and grown and grown. And in 2017, Lisa doesn't tell people about this. She doesn't speak about this. But I want Lisa to kind of, she's got messages as Lisa. Some of them are for her, granted, and some of them aren't. Some of them are for all of us. Lisa started receiving messages in 2017. And she's got books and books of writing, phones full of writing. Every day, pretty much, isn't it? You get a message?
Not every day at the moment, but it has been. It usually comes when I really need it. Or if somebody else needs it, something usually occurs to me and I have to kind of pull the car over and something will start to flow through, and then it usually lands where it needs to land. And yeah, I've been very private with it because it's very special because actually that, you know, there are some things in life that we do keep private, but as people keep saying to me that this is something that needs to be shared with other people. So I let Dave do it, and I just sit here and let him do it.
You just sit there wincing, don't you?
I say wincing, going
cringing.
But he makes me do it.
She just said, "I'm going to sit the other side. I'll sit in the room. I'm going to sit the other side." I said, "No, you're not." I said, "You're going to get over it, like the rest of us have to."
I will say though that that it's so lovely to be to keep to be surrounded by people who understand what people call the three principles, or whatever you want to call the awareness of being alive. It's very nice to share time and be with other people that also have an understanding of that, because it doesn't mean we don't get caught up and lost along the way, but having each other to remind one another of the creation of life, that we actually are all alive right now and living, experiencing beings. It's invaluable, really, to be surrounded by people who also, either if it's just on a screen or a community group, or you go to a conference, just be reminded of our true nature. So I didn't know I was going to be here this evening, and I'm really grateful to be surrounded by friends and people that I don't know, and have some lovely memories with, and look forward to making some other memories with as well.
The niece is on. Yeah. So I'm gonna, if you don't mind, I'm gonna read a couple of Lisa's writings. I don't know why the hell you're flinching. They're not even yours.
It's true. They're not mine. They just come through me.
Don't take credit. All right. These are some of Lisa's. So 2022, 2022. They're all in 2022, these ones. Okay, the first one starts like this. Let's wait for Ema to come in. I'm trying to get Lisa to write a book. I'm poking her because I failed at writing mine. I couldn't be bothered, but I think Lisa can. I hear you, my love. You don't need to fear anything in this life, beautiful soul. You, darling child, are made of the elements of the universe. We made you into a perfect creation. Your task is to realize you have life. You have the gift of materialization from a formless universe. You are the exact magic you seek. You are the perfection of the flower you so graciously marvel. You are the fast-flowing river and the sun in the sky. You are the invisible into the visible. You are a dance on an incredible stage. Darling child, be with your gift. Be with your creation. You are built for this life. Every rhythmic heartbeat, every single breath you breathe is a gift. You get to experience life. Breathe, see, listen. You never need fear this life because you are life itself. An incredible creation made from the material magic and majesty that makes all things. You are loved. That came through on the 31st of October last year. You don't need to fear anything in this life, beautiful soul. You, darling child, are made of the elements of the universe. We made you into a perfect creation. Your task is to realize you have life. You have the gift of materialization from a formless universe. You are the exact magic you seek. You are the perfection of the flower you so graciously marvel. You are the fast-flowing river and the sun in the sky. You are the invisible into the visible. You are a dance, a play on an incredible stage. Darling child, be with your gift. Be with your creation. You are built for this life. Every rhythmic heartbeat, every single breath you breathe is a gift. You get to experience life. Every single breath, see, breathe, and listen. You never need fear this life because you are life itself. An incredible creation made for the material magic and majesty that makes all things. You are loved. Time is not running out, discontented soul, because it does not exist. It is as much an illusion as the dreams you have at night and the life you live in the day. Do not chase the illusion of time, because you will never get there, you see. You will never get to the imaginings of your mind, because you are living each and every one in this moment. You are never behind, running out of time, or lost. You are living in the energy of the moment, bringing you your dream. As you dream, then there's nowhere else. Lean out. Feel their beautiful essence in the echo between the energy of your thoughts and the vessel that receives. You are magnificent. Time is not running out, discontented soul, because it does not exist. It is as much an illusion as the dreams you have at night and the life you live in the day. Do not chase the illusion of time, because you will never get there, you see. You will never get to the imaginings of your mind, because you are living each and every one in this moment. You are never behind, running out of time, or lost. You are living in the energy of the moment, bringing you your dream. As you dream, then there's nowhere else. Lean out. Feel their beautiful essence in the echo between the energy of your thoughts and the vessel that receives. You are magnificent. Pardon me. One more. Last one. Are you all right? One more?
Is anybody full?
Kel's nodding. You haven't weathered the storms, darling child. You have been thrashed by the rain and electrocuted by the lightning. All have shown you in the face of the things that you fear the most. No damage was done. You cannot know this life without the raging of the storms. Knowing you can withstand all weather without permanent discomfort is a gift in this life. The rain will thrash and the lightning will strike. You know how to embrace the storm. Life has taught you. Like the wind moves the clouds, so shall your weather settle and the sky become clear. As you rest in the ever-present warmth of the gentle sun, take a breath. As you get to notice the importance of the weather and how what looks like a storm is the gateway to change and the driving force of life. You are made of the elements. You haven't weathered the storms, darling child. You have been thrashed by the rain and electrocuted by the lightning. All have shown you in the face of the things you fear the most. No damage was done. You cannot know this life without the raging of the storms. Knowing you can withstand all weather without permanent discomfort is a gift in this life. The rain will thrash and the lightning will strike. You know how to embrace the storm. Life has taught you. Like the wind moves the clouds, so shall your weather settle and the sky become clear. As you rest in the ever-present warmth of the gentle sun, take a breath as you get to notice the importance of the weather and how what looks like a storm is the gateway to change and the driving force of life. You are made of the elements. There isn't a single fuck in that. There isn't a single shit. That's how I know that's not coming from my sister.
And do you know what's even more bonkers? Is when Dave reads them, I'm like, I actually wrote them. They came through my hand, and the feeling when they arrive, it's like an indescribable feeling of love, and it can make me pull my car over or jump out of bed at 3 o'clock in the morning or whatever. And I have read those many times, but I hear them differently when Dave reads them. And if I'm really honest, sometimes I could literally go, who wrote that? This beautiful thing, this beautiful information comes to me through the energy of my creation and lands on a page.
It comes to you by thought,
there's some this channel of thought that comes which wants, almost like it wants to be born. It does. What was that?
Just Helen arriving.
I've just realised who it is. Hi, Helen. Nice to see your face.
Hi, sorry. I tried to change the light on my computer, but it still looks weird, doesn't it?
Yeah, looks really weird. Are you drifting up to heaven?
Looks like, yeah, in a plankton sea or something.
I've had some insights this past few weeks about identity, and about, had some quite big life-changing things happening, and realizing that, for example, David and I own a piece of land, a beautiful piece of land that we're talking about. We've had it our whole lives, and we're wondering what to do with it. And one of the things that keeps coming to me is like, God, if we didn't have that piece of land, who would I be? Like, I've had that piece of land forever, and it's been really interesting being aware of the thinking that has been coming regarding not just that, but other things. There's other quite big, significant sort of those times in life where you get those big rocks where you have to kind of like, you can't get around them. You've literally got to figure out how to break them down. And it's been really interesting being able to lean out and look at my thoughts and thinking, you know, wow, I'm glad I can lean out of that one. I'm glad I can see that. And it's been one of those times in life where I've been fully on the stage, dancing with my thinking, fully engaged. And then other times I've just been sat in the wings and watching. And I've loved my humanness, and it's almost been like dancing between the formless and the form of life, and really seeing, I don't know if this makes any sense, but really seeing life and really seeing the energy of thought creating emotion, and how blindly wedded we can get to a belief about who we are and about what makes us who we are, by being attached to a thought that we think is true, that makes us us. And the past sort of week or so, it's been like this kind of opening this box of, God, I thought I was that person as well, and oh God, I've been really attached to that. And it's been quite interesting because I've been moving house and throwing away lots and lots of stuff. But with that kind of cleansing of my environment has come with the awareness of my mind, and the cleansing of my mind as well, and the awareness of the thinking that I've been having, that I've been believing to be true about who I am, and how kind of, I'm not a great big fan of the word letting go, but it kind of is just that. It's kind of like holding something and you just like let it go, and something else will fill the space. But it's just, I've become very aware of how we create identities via believing what we think about ourselves to be true. And actually, we can be anything. Just depends what arrives. I think learning not to be afraid of, I love a quote by Sydney Banks, and he said something like, if the one thing, you know how you hear quotes and they go in and then you try and speak them back and they're never the same, but the one thing that humans learned was not to be afraid of their experience, that alone would change the world. And sometimes when life changes and it feels like it's out of our control, we're always okay. We always make it. We always survive. Something else comes in and fills the gap.
I think that's a really beautiful thing to see. It's like, you know, many people think when we talk about there is no such thing as a past other than a memory. Like, people think, oh, we shouldn't talk about the past. And it's like, no, you're free to look at the past. You're free to look at the past. And the gift of memory is a beautiful thing, because like Lisa said in one of those writings, it's like the illusion of time. it's like we get this opportunity to sit back, bearing in mind that right in this very present moment, bang, now, it's gone, by the way, we are living at the very leading edge of our lives. This is the most up-to-date version of life now. So everything that has happened before is done. It's over. It's gone. And we get this opportunity with the gift of thought to remember our past and to look back at all these harrowing times that we believed we would never get through. Mm-hmm. We thought, how the hell am I ever going to get through this? Oh, my future's dead. I'm never going to recover.
Have you told them your insight getting in the water the other day?
No.
You have to. Dave made me laugh so hard when we went for a swim the other day, and it is relative to this. I'm sorry to interrupt you, but that insight that you had when you said about
the future was looking bleak.
What did you say? How did you say it?
Well, we went open water swimming. It had been between -4 and -7 that night, and it was about 10 o'clock in the morning, wasn't it? It was still frost on the ground.
It's beautiful.
And I stood on the edge of the water, and I was like, oh no, I don't want to get in there. Oh no, I was stood in my little Speedos like and going, oh no, I don't want to get in there. And then I was just like, get on with it. And I jumped in, walked in, lay down in the water, and just
for ages
sucked it up and just dealt with it. I just dealt with it. And it wasn't comfortable. It's bloody freezing, but dealt with it. And then when I got out, I just said, it's funny, isn't it? Was it the future looked far more bleak than the actual reality of it.
The future looked more bleak than the reality.
Yeah.
I just thought that was gold, because how often do we create a future that can look so bleak? And we might be sitting and having a cup of tea somewhere, having this bleak idea of how the future's going to look. But right now, the reality is absolutely fine.
I'll tell you what, it was beautiful. It was so beautiful. I just got in the water and I just became present. I say my prayers in water. I sit in the water and I say my prayers. And I had a really, really wonderful time. I didn't actually want to get out, but I knew I was getting so cold that I was going to take a while to warm up, and it took me a while to warm up. But we have this gift of memory, and we get to look back at our lives, look at all the hard times. And we get to see how, more often than not, even without us dealing with our situation, life changed and moved us through it and moved it on, and things changed and things settled down again. That's something that just happens in life. You know, we get really kind of caught up with the idea that we need to sort all this out. But you know what? Life moves us through it all continuously. We deal with it. We deal with everything we come up against. We deal with it. We've dealt with it. We've dealt with it all. We did it. We made it. Because we all sit here in our chairs and on our beds or wherever we are. And we've done it. There's just this now. All that is left from the entirety of our existence here on earth in this lifetime incarnation is this moment right now. That's it. We did it. We made it. And we will continue to do so. We will continue to make it.
We're so blessed. We're so blessed to be alive. I'm going to read one of my things. Now, I never read these. I think I've read one at a retreat because Dave forced me into it. But I am going to read this one because it actually, this is the one when I was at home today. And I put a little bookmark in it because I just thought, I don't know, it just speaks to me today, and it speaks to the conversation we've been having. So if you don't mind, I'll read it to you. It's not very long. Precious soul, life will never be as you imagine. We live by flows and flurries of stories, densities of energy breathing through our minds, creating our ever-living, breathing moment. Even our imaginings of the futures are in this very moment, and our imaginings of the past are lived in the eternal now. Eternal soul, what will the content of your dream of life hold? This is a question we will never know the answer to. Compassion, love, curiosity, kindness, trust. Cultivate these feelings. Lean in and invite in more. Fear, sadness, low mood, anxiousness. Lean in without fear and learn more. Knowing the breeze of life contains the content of everything, even the tree that you see, and the love is a thought. Even the tree that you see and love is a thought in your mind, a creation on the eternal breeze. Find freedom in the places that you're trapped. Let the thoughts of energy move through you. Lean back. Offer learning and rest in the ever-present changing of thought. With love, you are cherished. Does anybody have any examples of being aware of or letting go of their, does anybody have any examples that they'd like to share of things that they've seen in their own lives when you've been gifted awareness of your creation?
When you say that, you mean your stories you hold and stuff like
Yeah.
that?
Has anybody got anything they'd like to share?
Go on, Annette, lass.
Hi, Annette. So
Hi.
lovely to see your face.
Hi.
Hi.
I can share an insight I had recently, and it's a really simple one, but I noticed when I have thoughts about people, like if I'm feeling like, oh, I don't like that person, or they've done something to irritate me, and then I go into a story in my mind about it. And what I noticed was I got in touch with how that felt, how that thought about that so-called negative or uncomfortable situation felt, and it felt uncomfortable in my body to have that thought. And then I started to think, what if I loved them? What if I felt okay, they're doing the best they can do, and just loved them? And I noticed the feeling in my body was completely different.
Wow, beautiful.
So it was just like, that was quite a profound insight for me. I was just thinking, and I was trying to share that with my mum, who's 96. She was on the call last night, because she can get a bit like, oh, so. And I just said, Mum, how does that feel in your body when you think that? And see what it's like if you've been compassionate and feel love for them, and just notice what the feeling is in the body. It's not that we have to be positive all the time, but if you follow the feeling, it kind of tells you. That was just a simple insight that I got.
Beautiful.
That's beautiful, isn't it?
And so true. So true.
That's somebody who's really waking up and creating the life that they actually want to live, as opposed to somebody who is living a very reactive life. We've always created life, but we're only just, for some reason, seem to be at this moment in time waking up to that point. And so that's a beautiful thing that you've started to see, and that's wonderful. And if you can share that with more people, there's so much you can break that down into. You were seeing how thought creates reality.
Yeah.
You were starting to get
We feel what we
deep
think.
appreciation for thought creates reality. Thought creates feeling. You do have the freedom to create a new reality.
I prefer that reality.
It's like Elsie Spittle says, oh, all right, dearie, okay, dearie, yeah, I hear what you're saying. Where do you want to live? Do you want to live in your well-being, or do you want to live in your ego? No, yeah, I hear what you're saying, dearie, but I'll go back to it. Do you want to live in your well-being, or do you want to live in your ego? Choice is yours. Choice is ours.
And there's a beautiful saying actually that comes to mind. I've got a photograph of it on my wall, and it says, "Hate will never overcome hate. Only love will overcome hate." For the person saying by the Buddha, and I love that. Anybody else? Thanks, Annette. That was gorgeous. Just
Yeah,
like you,
thank you.
really. So expect nothing less.
My mum's just come in the room, so she's going to have a listen. If you can come and see.
Hello,
Mwah. How are you doing, lovely?
I'm doing fine. How are you?
Good. Excellent. Thank you
Jolly.
so much. Jen will say hi, apart from she is with Lucia in bed.
That's where she should be.
But she knows she can hear you. She can hear you. So I know she's
Oh,
sending
fine.
on.
Lovely. Hello, Jenny.
And this is Lisa.
Hello,
my
Lisa.
sister.
My sister.
Hi, nice to meet you.
We're
Hi.
still not sure what happened. Like,
What's that?
I look German. Lisa looks like she's
Ah.
from the Arabian Peninsula.
Is that so?
It's like Ollie and his sister.
Well, say no more. No comment. Okay,
Nice to
I'll have my
see you.
dinner.
Loads of love.
So do you know what I think is cool? I think it's cool that we live on a planet, and that this planet spins, and this planet goes around a sun with other planets and the stars in the sky. And I don't know if anybody saw the halo around the moon last night. It was pretty incredible. And what I love the most is these halos around the moon have been happening for since time ever began. But I love how everybody seems to have seen this halo around the moon, and people are getting more curious about what's happening outside of our, although it happens within us, but people are getting more curious as to the things that happen around us. And I just think it's such a lovely thought that the weather systems are moving around the planet, and there's ice particles coming around the moon, and there's rainbows popping up in the sky. There is an energy and an intelligence that creates all things, creates our experience of all things, and everything is always in a constant motion. It's always in a constant state of change. And we are made of the elements of this earth and this solar system, and this everything that exists can be broken down into the same mathematical equation, into the same elements. And if we look at the weather systems, it gets high and low pressures, we get snow, we get thunder, we get lightning, we get beautiful Indian summers, we get all these different weather flows and flurries, and we're built of that energy. So it makes sense that we get we get these flows and flurries, we get these high and low pressures, but we also get this gift of awareness of that we're part of this system, and getting an understanding. And I love Dickon Bettinger's way of the use of his word of understanding, of standing underneath our experience, like standing underneath the weather, standing underneath and getting to observe what is being created through us. And sometimes when I see a shooting star, it completely blows my mind, because it's just like there and gone. And the motion of the universe and of us in the universe and the energy that's creating all this experience is a never-ending, continually flowing forward motion even if it is, but it's a continually changing experience for everybody. Even when we feel like we're stuck, it changes naturally. We naturally just evolve and move and change, just the same as the weather systems, just the same as the planets around the sun. And goodness knows what happens beyond that. You'd have to talk to a NASA scientist, but
I think one of the vast differences between us and the sky through which the weather moves is, I'm pretty sure the sky doesn't identify itself with a specific type of weather.
yeah,
Do you know what I mean? I don't think the sky just goes, or the atmosphere just goes, do you know what? I'm always low pressure. I don't think there's any judgment in it. And I think that's one of the things that we're kind of pointing to. If people can start to release their ideas and their identities of their weather, be more atmosphere, be more atmosphere, understand that in this life we're going to have our ups and downs, and just like the atmosphere, it's never destroyed by it.
and when we're getting this tension is an indicator to tell us to let go. Like these times of tension and upset are life's way of trying to go, hang on a minute, the drain's blocked, we need to pull some of that fluff out the drain to let some fresh water come through. These things that we deem as being bad or as being uncomfortable are usually the useful pointers that help us pull out the plug and release the energy and move forward. And it always has been, and it always will be. No, I don't need that one. I've put some gaps in something. Yeah. Oh, that's quite a nice one, I think. Let's try it. I'll read it out so I don't need to.
No. Life is not as you would imagine, wayward soul. It is full of unexpected surprises. We build and create illusionary worlds, which is our way of experiencing life. Enjoy your creations without attachment to outcome, as each never-ending connected dream is your life. Enjoy the energy of thoughts that create your world. Marvel at your incredible creation. Be thankful for all dreams, for you are a constant dreaming creature. There is no destination, only ever an unfolding magic of life dreaming.
Divine.
You are made of a divine love, a love that creates all things, love that which arises in your world. Bring joy to even the most troubled thought. Love it and let it flow through you. Do not get snagged on permanence. Notice the impermanence of all things. Always enjoy the moments you get to notice. Make space to flow. Slow down and breathe. Let the air, sun, and water guide you to a quieter place. Within, you are connected to it all with love. There's just something really nice about my sister's writings, I think. I think they just speak straight to it. Let's see, cheers, Em.
Here's
I feel like they just speak straight to it. And when we're talking, when Lisa receives these messages, I've been present when she receives them. She's like, I need pen, and she just writes. And quite often she writes it, and she'll have written it, and she'll just go, right, done, puts it down and walks off. More like the amount of time she just puts it down and walks off and gets on with the day, doesn't even think about it. And you've told me, you've gone back in the past and you've gone back later on that day or whatever, and you've gone, what's that on the side? Oh yeah, that's my handwriting.
Yeah,
What?
often.
What does it say? I don't remember writing that. But this comes to Lise through thought. Thought is the means by which creation is born. Thought is the means by which we create our lives as spiritual divine beings. The creative force that creates worlds, we give the name thought to. And the moment we give it an identity name, it creates an illusion that we know what it is. Like if I was to say the word tree, everybody can picture a tree, but do we know what a tree is, really? Or water, what is water? Hydrogen and oxygen. Okay, what's hydrogen? Oxygen, they're gases. Okay, what's gas? Well, it's an element probably, I think, something like that, an element. It's made up of particles. What's a particle? Well, it's something that emerges. It's something that comes into being. Where's it come from? I don't know. You look at anything and you reverse engineer it, you will always end back up at I don't know. What is a tree? A tree, well, everyone knows what a tree is. Okay, what's a tree? It's a woody plant. What's a plant? Well, it's a living thing that is anchored to the earth, or another plant. Okay, well, but what is it? Well, it's a cellular structure. What's a cell? Well, a cell is a collection of atoms that form this kind of conscious building block. What's an atom? Well, it's a thing that kind of emerges out of kind of nothing. Well, what's that? I don't know. You reverse engineer anything. What is a thought? I don't know. What is it? I mean, I'm talking about really what is thought. You realize this whole game of life is a mystery. If it's a mystery, then it's there to be explored. It's there to be wholeheartedly explored. It's not what we don't know that gets us into trouble. It's what we think we know that gets us into trouble. This is why the wise people have said throughout time, I know I am wise, for I know nothing. There's a massive difference between I believe and I know. I think the more I've spent time in this conversation, the I know becomes a lot quieter. The I believe becomes far more apparent. And the beauty in that is it allows change to happen quicker. It allows me to revisit and question, just like Annette talked about.
Total tangent. Yesterday morning, I walked up to my car, and we live on a street and somebody had driven and just like smashed my wing mirror off the car. Like the wing mirror was bent in and there was just plastic like strewn all down the road. I mean, there's no way on the earth you could have not known he did this wing mirror right. And what I love about life is you never know what it's going to bring. And I just burst out laughing because it was so outrageous. I was just like, it was almost worth it for the actual, like, oh my God, as if somebody smashed my wing mirror off, like not just smashed it, like totally trashed it. It must have made a hell of a noise. And even now, I'm still not annoyed about it because I realised that whoever was driving that van or car must have been like, shit, or, you know, they've just left the scene. And it's so funny how once upon a time, I might have been like, it's so rude, you know, how could somebody not leave a note, blah, 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 blah. But I could just see it. And so I walked down the road and I picked up all the plastic off the floor. I actually went and met Dave and Jen, and Dave's like, oh, what's happened to your wing mirror? Bloody hell. It's like, I found it smashed on the road. And I was like, it was hilarious. Dave started laughing. And you know what's even more annoying? I spent 125 quid getting it fixed not that long ago because I'd smashed it myself. So off I go again. But it was so nice that life brought me humour because I don't have the attachment to other people affecting me as much. It's not to say it doesn't happen, but there'd have been a time when I would have been really annoyed by that. But it was, I mean, even now I can picture it in my head. It's ridiculous.
The thing is,
but it's nice not to have the real tension on
the anger.
These things that, and this, it was just a nothing. It was a nothing. In fact, my partner and I, every night when we go to bed, we say, what's been your rose, what's been your thorn, and what's been your bud? So what's been great in your day, what's been like a bit of a thorn, and what you're looking forward to? I was like, I don't think I've got a thorn. If I did have to have a thorn, it would be like coupled with the rose because it was so funny. And it was so nice to be surprised by my reaction that I actually think that's my rose thorn today. And I'm sure you guys will have experienced these times when life has surprised you because you haven't shown up how you would probably ordinarily show up. I can see Kelly nodding, and I know we've had conversations where you've been like, I was really surprised because I just didn't react. And when I didn't react, then it gave them space to be something different, which is so true. It's so true. But we don't do that. It just happens as something inside us starts to wake up to the nature of the fact that we're alive and we experience this life. We get to get a little bit of a gap before we
a bit more awareness.
A bit.
I think the thing that I like about your wing mirror is
it's probably the neatest part of my car.
It now fits in beautifully with the rest of your car.
It really does.
I always think that Lisa saw a golf ball get hit by a golf club and realized the aerodynamic structure of a very dinted ball is a really efficient, like, traveling object. And then she set to create a car that is like modeled on a golf ball. Like, so in all fairness, the wing mirror was really the last bit that needed smashing up. So
I actually took it to the Kurdish car wash yesterday. There's 8 guys going, looking around each side. They don't know. They're like trying to clean the dint underneath the floor, going, "Is it worth it?
Yeah. Is that dirt or is it a scratch?"
Yeah. Anyway, but it was nice to have humour instead of tension, naturally, without trying really.
Right. Does anybody want to say anything? Any comments or anything like that? Anybody want to share anything? Where are people at?
I've got something really silly. It's not silly. It's just a bit sweet, really. The other day I was at Vajrasana, which is the retreat center that I often volunteer at. It's a Buddhist retreat center. And I clean the loos there and I really enjoy doing it. It's really weird, but I really love doing it. And there's a little pile of scrap paper by this little ledge on in our flagship loos, as we like to call them. And I picked up a piece of paper and I just felt like writing on the piece of paper, you are safe, you are loved. And I drew a little heart next to it and I hid it in all the scrap paper. And I thought someone sometime might need to just kind of feel that they're safe and they're loved. Didn't think anything about it. And then a couple of days later, a friend was at the retreat center who actually lives at the retreat center, but in the community house. They don't actually go into the retreat center hardly at all. Sent me this picture of you are safe, you are loved, with a love heart next to it. And said, I can't believe these beautiful things that people do. Said, look at this. I just found this in the retreat center. And it's so weird that out of the big pile of scrap paper, in the middle of the scrap paper, it made its way back to me like that. Just thought it was just so incredible. Yeah, really. And I said, oh my God, I can't believe that. I said, that I wrote that. And he was like, isn't that so strange how I would find that? He goes, I've never even looked in that pile of paper before.
That's beautiful. And you know what? That's infectious.
Yeah.
That's Kel.
I just sort of thought someone might need to feel safe and loved. So I wrote it because I wasn't having a day where I was feeling particularly safe. And I just sort of thought someone else might not be feeling safe. Unless I wouldn't have even remembered that I'd written it if he hadn't have found it.
Yeah, well, as you were saying that, it seemed to me like that was really a message for yourself.
Yeah, it totally was.
Much as anybody else.
Yeah, it was to myself, but it was the recognition that that other people quite often feel unsafe in this world. And actually we get so caught up in when we feel unsafe that our minds just go into overdrive and we can't sort of we just don't give the universe time to kind of like permeate, and we don't give it space enough to kind of just find its own way, in ourselves. I think that was something, I don't even know what I was thinking, but I just wrote that for myself and kind of giving it out to someone else. So yeah, it was weird. Anyway, it's
not weird, Kel, it's gorgeous. It's love in action. Love in action.
Yeah.
Your wisdom brought you the thought to put pen to paper, and the receiver found it. Gorgeous.
Yeah. It's so weird that it made its way back to me.
I think whilst we're on this subject, oh, by the way, no, that isn't a new Rusty replacement. That's my sister's dog, Molly. One of the parts of one of Lisa's writings that I love is where she speaks about, you never need fear this life. Beautiful soul, I think it says. And then it breaks it down, and then at the end it tells you why you don't need to fear life. Because you are life itself. Now, everybody on earth, without exception, is life itself. Life itself is an eternal thing. The livingness of life, consciousness, is an eternal thing. What isn't an eternal thing is creation. Now, where we as human beings get caught up is we get caught up in creation. We think all there is creation. We're struggling at the moment en masse. I think it's growing personally. I'm optimistic for this planet. I'm one of these weird optimistic people who think the world's actually going to get into is actually going to become a really frigging beautiful place to live. I really do. But one of the things humanity's at this very present moment in time is struggling with the comprehension of is creator. Now, many people are religious and they have these identities of creator beings and deities and whatnot, but life itself, the livingness of life, doesn't change. It does never goes out of, it cannot change. It doesn't go out of circulation. It doesn't go out of production like creation does. Now, people would argue, what about death, Dave? If people really start to understand death, they realize that death and life are two sides of the same coin. You know, there is more evidence of reincarnation than there is against it. There is no evidence against it. There's beliefs, but there's no evidence. You can't find evidence against it. But there's plenty of evidence for it, that we live multiple lives, that life lives multiple lives. If you go to the to India and places like that, Jenny says they do not give a crap because they believe in reincarnation. They don't care whether they die or live. They're just not as caught up on it as we are. But the livingness of life never dies because it's energy. And according to physics, you cannot kill energy. It can only change form. It can only change the creation. And where we as humans get all caught up is we get caught up in the creation and we identify with the creation. We identify with our bodies. We identify with the creations of our mind. The mind is the livingness of life. Consciousness is the livingness of life. Thought is the livingness of life. That trinity of one, as Sid called it, is the livingness of life. That we truly are. We are that first. Everything we think, feel, and experience is a consequence of the livingness of life. It's a consequence of it. It's only because we are the livingness of life. But what we do is we tend to identify, rather than being the livingness of life, as Jesus Christ called it, the I am. We tend to identify with the creation that we would stick at the end of the sentence, I am. I am male, I am heterosexual, I am gay, I am angry, I am depressed, I am not good enough, I am whatever it be. We tend to identify with the creation. The creations come and go. Creation comes and goes. Creations come and go. Creations are born, suns are born, and then they die. Galaxies are born and then they die. Earths are born and then they die. People are born and then they die. Trees are born, then they die. Creation comes and goes. That halo isn't around the tree anymore, around the moon anymore, my apologies. Isn't around the moon anymore. Creation comes and goes, but what we're doing is we're identifying with that comes and goes. Which, when we identify with that, looks scary because it gives the impression that one day we're just going to puff into nothing. That's our misunderstanding of life and our misunderstanding of death right there. That's our misunderstanding of mental health right there. Misunderstanding of mental illness, should I say. People identify with temporary, momentary experiences, things that come and go. We think that's who we are. We're none of it. We are life itself. That's why we can never be broken, because we are life itself. That's why we are always whole, because we are life itself. That's why we are always perfectly psychologically, the opportunity of psychological freedom and well-being is at our core, because it's life itself. That's why we don't need to fear anything in this life, because we would be fearing ourselves. We are so much greater and grander than anything our little minds can dream up.
Hi, good night.
You may have got something covering. Helen, go for it, love. Helen?
Sorry. I need to mute myself.
You what, lovely?
I need
Did
to
you-
mute myself. Sorry.
Did you want to say something?
No, sorry.
No, don't apologise.
I didn't realise I wasn't on mute. So I'm so sorry.
It's all right.
Do you know what I love? Right now, we're all being lived by the same energy. We're all sitting here, and the formlessness of life is bringing us our experience. There are, I don't know how many people are on this screen, 4, 8, 12, 16, 16 of us. We've got 16 hearts beating right now. We're lived. We're breathing. We've got thought creating our experience. Some people might be like, God, I wish this would hurry up and end. Like, I feel rude if I check out now, but I'm gonna have to like sit it out. There'll be some people that are loving it, and there'll be some people who are just like indifferent. But we are all living in this moment and experiencing together by the same source of energy. I think that's very cool. And that's very, very cool. We're all blinking. We can all see. I'm assuming we can all see. We're all hearing. The energy of life speaks amongst itself. I kind of see it like we all have, which is why I love it when people share their stories, because I see it like we all hold keys. And those keys don't just lie in the hands of people who talk. They lie in all of us, because we're all just ordinary people, because we're all the same, because we're all lived by the same energy. But it's almost like we have keys to the locks inside each other sometimes. And I usually think that, well, I do believe that the creation of life sticks us all together, and we all chat, and we all just sit and open doors, and people share their stories, and we all leave feeling better, because the energy of life knows that we are here, and that we're open, and that we are listening to each other. So it brings us helpful thinking. And even if somebody's totally opposing anything, even that is helpful, because that's the energy of life creating too. There is no wrong. There is no thing that, or feeling or experience that we shouldn't have. It's the awareness that we're lived that helps us navigate our own lives, and also helps us have a better understanding of the people that we share our lives with, when we realize that we're all lived by the same energy. If we could choose what we think, and if we could choose to observe our thinking day in, day out, we'd all probably be quite boring. But when we realize that all the people that we share our time with, our friends, our family, our partners, are all lived as we're lived, we can be a bit kinder to them when they're maybe not having the best day, knowing that sometimes we don't have the best day. Knowing that we're all lived from the same source of energy in a different form.
I love what you were just saying there about, there are no wrong feelings. There is no such thing as a wrong feeling. I've got a little diagram. I feel like doing with Rolf Harris, but I don't think it's kind of appropriate anymore, is it? Can you guess what it is yet? I'm going to do it. It's a rainbow, a beautiful rainbow. Beautiful, look at it. Now you stay where you are. I'll move this a tad closer. All right. I quite like this metaphor. Is there anybody who doesn't like rainbows? No. All right, cool. Right. Rainbows. Rainbows are a spectrum. Rainbows are a spectrum of a singular force, and that force is light. Light. The singular force of light, as it strikes the rain, the water, it splits like a prism. The light into its infinite variety that exists within the white light. And we get to see that as a rainbow. There's only one source of the rainbow, and that's light. But the light will always appear white until it's refracted through either a crystal or rain, water. And when we look at a rainbow, we're only seeing a small section of that light spectrum. We're only actually getting to bear witness to a very small section of that light spectrum. And we know that above the rainbow, it goes into ultraviolet light. Light that our eyes can't pick up. But we know, because we can now measure it with machinery and cameras and stuff like that, that there is this other light that goes into the spectrum, and the spectrum continues above, and below it goes into infrared light, again a light that our eyes can't pick up, but we have machinery and cameras that can now pick it up. Okay, so this spectrum continues indefinitely. It's actually an infinite spectrum. It's a totally natural occurrence. This spectrum is a totally natural occurrence. It's not broken in any way. There are no wrong colours in the rainbow. The rainbow's perfect. It's as perfect as the light itself. All right, let's change this. Okay, now we've got a new spectrum. This is the human spectrum, or as I would prefer to say, the living life spectrum. Because I know that my little dog Rusty experienced every single emotion I experienced. He experienced happiness, joy, he got excited, he was unconditionally loving, he would get afraid, he'd get pissed off, he'd get really naughty. He had every single experience, had every single feeling that I have. This isn't just a human thing. This is a life thing. This is a nature. These are nature feelings. We are nature. Human beings are nature. They're just an aspect of nature that forgot. That's it. It just forgot. It thought it was something greater than nature. It thought it was God beyond nature. No, it's God within nature. So we've got the spectrum here from, I didn't have a yellow, so excuse me, red, yellow, pink, green, orange, purple, blue. I know technically that's incorrect, but it's just the way it is. So at the top, I've decided that red and going into ultraviolet is love. The love states, the high frequency feelings, the good quality feelings that we like. And blue, purple, blue are going into fear. Okay. And rather than it being born of light, it's born of consciousness. And what flavors the colors is thought. No thought, no feeling within this spectrum can be experienced without consciousness at all. Impossible. No color can be attained without something that it's refracting through. Consciousness is refracting through thought. Again, what we have is a totally whole rainbow where there are no wrong colors. This is a totally natural nature feeling state spectrum. But somewhere along the line, for some reason, and you're free to make up your own minds here, somewhere down the line, for some reason, it was decided that red, yellow, pink, green, you're okay. Orange, purple, blue, bad. Ill. They're ill. So these colours of the rainbow are actually an illness. They're no longer light. They are now an illness. Now, one of the most liberating things I remember you saying to me something about somebody who we both know has been very difficult in your life and every now and again mine. And she said, do you know what I've discovered? My feelings come and go. Now that lady changed like that, didn't she? Begins with J.
Yeah.
Her feelings, she changed like that. All she discovered was her feelings come and go, and she's all right. She's all right. She's not ill. If she starts going into these lower feeling states, these lower frequency feelings, it doesn't mean she's ill. She realized that for herself. And that lady changed like that. All her fear around those feelings died. She didn't have orange, purple, blue about orange, purple, and blue. Her feelings around them died. She realized she is allowed to feel those feelings and she's not broken. You see, what creates the experience of love, joy, happiness is exactly the same thing as what creates the fear of depressions, angst, worry, addiction, all your psychiatric labels. They're all born of consciousness and thought. This rainbow is not an ill rainbow. It's not an illness rainbow. It's a nature rainbow. We're given the capacity to feel all kinds of emotions, an infinite spectrum of emotions. Sometimes we get to fall into a state of love so vast it's beyond the everyday experience of our everyday life. And sometimes we fall into fear so deep we just cannot imagine ever crawling out of it. But there are no wrong colors in the rainbow. There are no wrong feelings. Nature never made anything imperfect. It made different, yes. It makes different. Everything is different. There's no two the same of anything. Not even twins, not even cells that have divided and cloned themselves. They're not identical. It makes different, but it doesn't make imperfect. There are no wrong feelings. There is no wrong experience. There is only experience. Ten minutes left. Does anybody want to say anything?
Hi, everybody. This is Anna. I'm in New Zealand. Thank you so much. It's been really lovely to listen. Some of it has been through like 4 a.m. here, so I just joined and I put it on my bedside table, and I just love the direction, you know, the I am, the spiritual, the formless is a direction. Tends to quiet the mind because there's nothing really to think about when you look towards the spiritual, towards the formless. So I love to hear that point out. It's really lovely. You know, remind me of Sid when he says, point in a direction and do nothing. I think there's the instruction of looking towards the spiritual and letting life leave us. And trust and faith were something that was not very natural to me until I saw that I could identify with something really deep and beautiful and everlasting, and sometimes I forget that and identify with, you know, the chop. You know, if I think of myself as an ocean, I am as much as the depth and the quiet, as I get caught up in my thinking sometimes. But all it is just my willingness to stop thinking and go back to the calmness that we all have inside. That gives me my clarity back, my good feeling back. So it's been lovely to listen. I thank you so much.
Oh, bless you, love. Thank you. Thank you for being here, love. We've seen you being on the screen, so thank you so much. Sorry you didn't go back to sleep. We thought we could bore anybody to sleep.
Well, I kind of did.
That's a good sign.
I think so.
Yeah.
Anna, thank you so much, love.
Thanks, Anna.
Can I just say that I thought Lisa's writings were beautiful and really profound and really touching, and they kind of put me in a quiet space, and thank you, they were lovely.
Thanks, Ange. Thank Dave.
Thanks, Lisa.
He's the deliverer.
It's just going a triangle of thanks there, wasn't it?
Oh, thank you, Ange. It's so lovely to see you. Really nice.
That's Ali.
Sorry, Ali. Angie's below. That's why. Because your screens
just
are right
realised what
next.
you said.
Your screens are right next to one another.
I always call them Ali and Ange. I always get them mixed up.
I get them mixed up as well.
Dave always gets it wrong.
It's because when I first met you, you were both together and sat near one another, and I got it wrong then. So apologies.
Yeah.
No, not a problem.
It's actually the story of my life as well.
We're just both a bit thick, aren't we?
Yeah.
Thank you, love. And I totally agree. That's why I'm trying to get her to step up a little bit and speak out.
I love our little inner worlds that we all have. We all have our little inner worlds, the little worlds that we don't tell anybody about, the little things that we do. And that's wisdom living us. The little things that we do privately on our own that we'd probably be a little bit embarrassed. There's nothing to be embarrassed about, but or that we write about.
Go on, give us an example.
We all have those places.
Give us an example.
Just stuff like that.
There's a book in the making.
There's a book in the making, isn't there? Like an Osho or something like
What
that.
do you do when no one's looking? And why are you ashamed of it? Well, let's not
Is that
not answer that question.
Is that your book?
No, but maybe it will be.
You should be. Oh, bless everyone. Thank you all so much. I hate to do this bit, but this is a via donation retreat. Anybody you can, please donate. And if not, please pay it forward with an act of kindness and love. If you're watching this on catch up, again, your donations are really, really welcomed. Helps Jen and I keep going in our work. Helps us keep putting food on the table, as we all need to do at this present moment in time, and we always have. Glad I've got that out of the way. Got a bit of thinking about all that bit. But no, thank you all so much. I know tomorrow's Monday. But we're starting again at 3 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. It'll be the last day. We've got Aaron Turner speaking with us tomorrow. So that'll be really nice. We've never had Aaron speaking at one of our things, so that'll be really nice. Yeah, if you can make it, it will be wonderful to see you. And I just want to thank every single one of you for taking the time to come and be on this. It really means an awful lot. It really means an awful lot to Jen and I when people actually take the time to show up. It's a really kind thing, and we really appreciate it. We really appreciate your support, and we hope that in exchange for your support, we help you to grow, and you help us to grow. So between us all, thanks to us all, and yeah, have a good night or a good day. I don't know where everybody's at. New Zealand, and guess you just coming too. We're just about to go to bed. But yeah, I just send you all love. I know Jen does as well. She's listening. Unless she's fallen asleep now. Maybe we bored the shit out of Jen and she's gone to sleep. You'll say anything?
Night.
No.
Lovely to see you all.
Good morning.
Good morning to Anna. Thank you for speaking.
Cheers. Go.
Thank
Right,
you.
God bless everyone.
Bye.
Bye, guys.
Loads of love.